Okay, so we're back.
Okay, hi, we're back again. So we need to get both of us in here.
I know, we'll get there.
Somehow. So we are just going to take a quick look at Miguel's chart. I was going to do a full chart reading on this. However, it would take about an hour to do that, and it could take longer. So we're going to kind of do a little mini reading here. So when I do a chart, the first thing that I'm looking at, this looks kind of weird, doesn't it?
If it's just sitting
To
out
me,
front.
I guess, I don't know, is I do a full analysis of the moon first, because in astrology, the way I like to read is the moon sign is based on a 26,000 year time track of wherever the journeys of your soul has been, whatever form it has taken. So, in other words, I also like to say that's what you have a PhD in. You're an expert at. Okay?
So that was a past life that I lived through, and the moon is just kind of like the shadow side.
No, the moon is what you have a PhD in. It's what you've already learned. You know how to do it.
Okay.
Okay? So your moon is in Libra. Then when we look at the sun sign, it's like current life incarnation. Your sun sign is Capricorn, 5 degrees, 39 minutes. So it's like thesis, moon, Libra, antithesis, counterpoint, Capricorn, for the purpose of going where? What direction is this moving at? Your rising sign is 12 degrees Capricorn. So you have a PhD in Libra. You're burning Capricorn fuel for the purpose of getting to Capricorn. So your Capricorn sun and Capricorn rising. And then we look at your equipment. Your Mercury, how you think, is also in Capricorn. 13 degrees, 23 minutes, Capricorn. Wow, wow, wow. That's pretty amazing. I just have to say this because my descendant is 13 degrees, 36 minutes, Capricorn. So,
not too far.
And very close to my moon. So, that's a past life communication connection that we have. So I'm not surprised that you and I have connected in the manner that we have, as well as your rising sign is 12 degrees precisely on my moon and 12 degrees Capricorn. Interesting. Just thought I'd make a note of that. So back to the moon sign. So now when I'm looking at this, so you have a PhD in Libra. So in other words, like you meet somebody that's a Libra sun sign, you are actually teaching them how to be a Libra. You're transmitting energy to them. So, and very often you get along pretty well with Libra sun types because you're Libra moon. And you're like in the most comprehensive degree, 29 degrees, 32 minutes. So what's Libra all about? Libra's all about, where's my partner?
Okay.
Where's my twin flame? Where's my soulmate? And it's all about partnership. And it's an air sign. But its main purpose is, so when you come into the life, I have a couple family members that were Libra moons. It's like on a subconscious level, because your moon rules the subconscious, you're always seeking out, whether you're consciously aware of it or not, a partnership. And that's not just a relationship, that's familial as well as working relationships. So you're somebody that really likes to work in tandem with another person.
It does help me get far, especially to achieve my goals, to be successful. I know that I have to be open and able to receive other people. If I'm not learning the differences and challenging myself of the stuff that I know that I don't know, then I know that I'm lacking in that openness to what could be around. You know, I could be putting in all my work, and ultimately I can see that finish line as it being as a partner, or who am I going to share this with? And then it would be beautiful to see if somebody else can put the same type of work into creating their dreams happen, and see what could happen in life. I thought that was the basic necessity. But I notice a lot with the friends that I have. Everybody's just really their own person. They want their own things. They have their friends. So
Right, and that makes sense because for you, we all have different equipment, so we all respond to situations differently. But for you, it's very common. A lot of people go throughout life if they're not interested in personal development or spirituality or, having the questions answered like, what is the purpose of life? Why am I here? Then they go through life what I call projecting their stuff onto other people or judging other people by their own capacity to understand what's actually going on. So that's a totally different thing, until, yeah. And people do it all the time without a thought. They just expect, why doesn't that person understand that? How come they don't think like me? Or, gee, they're way off track. But, until you start understanding this, then it's like, I had a friend who a couple years ago said something to me like, wow, you're just so understanding about things, or you don't get upset about this or that, or and I said, well,
kind of
when you're an astrologer and you begin to
kindred spirit
look at things in a whole different way, then you become a lot less judgmental. So that's kind of what she was trying to say is put across to me is that I wasn't so judgmental about things because, it's like, well, that person has different equipment for thinking, different tools for thinking, different desire nature, so like now that's the past. Now, the other thing I would look at here, I see no other planets in Libra. And when I say other planets, I'm talking about personal planets. So that means rising sign, sun sign, Venus, Mars. So if you had any other, just as an example, that's not the case with you, but if you did have any other planets in Libra, it would mean that there's a continuation going on. Or in other words, you didn't learn all the material that there was to learn about being a Libra. So in your case, that's not true. So it's like you've mastered the Libran quality. So it's like you're an expert, or could be called potentially an expert in the relationship arena. I mean, you really know how to make a good partnership.
I agree. The energy that creates a whole person, their imagination, develop themselves as a person growing over time is just right now, a lot of it, it's kind of like in my heart. I have a dream of it, imagination of what it's supposed to be. I read the books up on it a lot, but to be able to find and share someone, that's just a dream still,
Yeah,
so,
right.
How would you define
Yeah.
Libra qualities to be completely finished? Is just connections, to be able to understand another person as far as, because everybody carries their whole world inside of them, to be able to respect the boundaries just as much. A lot of looking into the different theology and religions around the world, and how in today's age we're just trying to get along with one another. And I hope that as the world is turning into a new
paradigm
or era
right now,
we're able to lead this and put in the work and effort, since a lot of people are feeling the hit of not being able to take care of themselves or feel like their work isn't truly paying off for what their intellectual value is. And I believe it's definitely possible to make that be seen to where they can see it as a benefit to the world and overall change from the inside, to be the change inside to what they want to see on the outside.
Exactly.
And if money, currency does come through for that.
Yeah. Exactly, be the change. Right. So now we'll talk about Capricorn here, because what is Capricorn about? Well, it's an earthy sign. It's all about those that are the most competent, the most responsible, the most reliable, the earth signs are usually very physically grounded. Like people around them will usually say, you know, that person's really grounded. Like in other words, they don't seem like they're, you know, just airy fairy floating around out there. I call like
Head
the
in the
Dixie
sky.
doodle hopper. I don't,
Completely
it's kind
off
of a
the
funny
topic.
word, but yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know,
Yeah,
they
what's going
take
on?
things very, very seriously, especially when it comes to work. It's like if your boss, for example, said, you know, Miguel, I have a really important job and I would like you to take care of this, and I need to have this done in 60 minutes. Can you do that for me? And you'd go, yeah, you know, you would feel, they have a really strong sense of urgency, call to duty. They're like, boom, boom.
Right.
They're, you know, very serious about that. In your mind, you might not say that, but to probably impress them, you think like, you know what, I'm going to try to have that done in 50 minutes.
Of course.
And then boom, you know, you deliver. And hopefully if you had a nice boss that knew how to, you know, validate you properly, would say, wow, you know, thank you. I can't believe you got that done for me like 10 minutes earlier than I asked you to. And everything's perfect.
Right.
It's, you know, as a matter of fact, you delivered even above and beyond what I thought. You know, that would be great, you know, because not only would that be validating your Libra moon is like, wow, this is a great partner. He's the perfect partner for me in this business. But it would be validating that you did a good job.
Right. There's no point in wasting time thinking, can I do this? Maybe. What is it gonna take to just start and see where those steps end up taking me or leading me across? So I've been very fortunate to have a lot of work in my life given to me and things that need to get done. So as what I've learned as far as being grounded and looking into my own sign is definitely just going in with thought that you're everything that you have gone through in your life has set you up for this moment in time. So there is no second questioning if you're able to do it or not. You see the problem, there's a fire, you have the solution, you're able to find your way and solve it. It's a learning process at the end of the day, just like an art piece. You start off with one image and then you keep adding more to it over time and over time.
Right.
And it ends up being more, hopefully more beautiful than you could have expected in the beginning. Its own image.
Yeah, and you say more beautiful because Libra is all about aesthetics. It's very visual. So, you know, you find a lot of Libran qualities like in design, art. You find a lot of that in interior design as well. But you also find a lot of Libran quality in law.
In law.
Attorneys, your paralegals, a lot of those have Libra in their chart somewhere. So, but with Capricorn, so that's like front and center for you to be responsible, competent, and to be honored for those things because they have, they're phenomenally serious. It's like, especially when they're in work mode, it's like there's no time for play. It's the job at hand.
Right.
And, you know, let's get down to the grindstone here and get moving on this. So
people tell me I work all the time. It's all like, you look like you're just always busy.
yeah,
Because I am. Like, I feel like I'm behind a few years.
it's like innate, you know. I mean, technically, it's not experience from the past. If it was in your moon sign or your south node, which is has to do with the past, is not in this case. And I just spotted another interesting thing because your south node is in Scorpio here, and your Venus is on your south node. Wow.
Does that help?
Well,
no, not really.
Well, it can mess up with the timing here, especially because Venus has to do with your love life.
Right.
And harmony and balance in your life, your home life. So sometimes the timing can be just a little bit off in relationship for you. And you may or may not have noticed that consciously in your history in the past, whether you feel like, God, you know, this person is awesome. I met this person and I think we have a really good connection, but she just split up with a guy a few weeks ago or a few months ago, and so she's not going to be really ready for a relationship with me right now. Something like that would be an example of it. Or you meet somebody and then now all of a sudden you get a promotion in your job and they say, oh, well, we need you to move out of state for this job, and you're like, what?
Really? Also for any I guess intention that you're putting into, like, something that really brings out the zeal or emotions out of the work that you're trying to put or accomplish. So it's not, when you say love, you're talking about also, like, not just for a person, but for the work that you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Absolutely.
Venus affects that as well.
Yeah. It's your livelihood, and your Venus is in Scorpio. Did you know that?
Is that even worse?
No. No, that's a good thing, though, because I have to say, astrologically speaking, and as somebody who's done this for 30 years, that's a long time, but Scorpio and Taurus are two of the signs that get some of the worst raps. They really do. And Scorpio, a lot of people might apply a negative connotation to it. It's a water sign. It's very intuitive. Usually these people have very keen intuition, a lot of kind of just natural psychic ability about things. But Scorpio is, okay, I'm going to say this because a lot of times I just go right into it. I go, well, that's sex, drugs, rock and roll sign, because it is. Now, it doesn't mean that's the actual meaning of Scorpio or what it's about. However, it's generally the path that, in my experience, maybe higher than 90% of people that, and when I say Scorpio, whether you're Scorpio sun sign, Scorpio moon, Scorpio rising, more so in the sun moon, Venus Mars position, it's like that it's really, really pushing the envelope. I mean, its ruler is Mars, the war planet. So to me, I like to liken the gas pedal in a car to Mars. It's like, boom, Mars is Scorpio is just, they attack everything with just this major intensity when they're going after it. They want to get really deep beneath the surface of everything. So
I can see a few friends that have done that before.
So they very often,
into relationships,
testing all the limits, they get involved with drugs or alcohol, anything in excess, sex, because it is a very sexual sign, intimacy, not just sexuality, but both Taurus, Scorpio are all about the intimacy. So in relationship, in my experience, anybody that's got planets in Taurus or Scorpio usually want to be with another person that has Scorpio or Taurus planets in it, because they really innately understand intimacy, not just sexuality. Now, the real meaning of Scorpio is self-mastery over all of those issues, or to command the feeling function of another person. So what is the best way, or the quickest, easiest way to command the feeling function with another person? Let's say some girl that you met that you really like. It's like, well, it's to have sex with them or to make love to them, because you're wanting to get to the deepest emotion possible of that person, extract the deepest emotion that you can out of them.
The tantric type of healing.
We'll see that. Perfect.
Would be nice.
Great answer. See, now, not everybody your age even knows what Tantra is.
No,
but
unfortunately
yes.
not. And then
that's the higher example of it.
I feel like that's the only way, because of course I come from Las Vegas, so Sin City, of course, they have it all across the street, just all these naked women everywhere, and it's
such a fun playground for you, huh?
But what's really inside that matters the most,
right? Exactly.
After so many years, like, it's really the person and type of energy that is really beautiful on the inside. It's be you to the fullest. I had to relearn all that because you don't really know a person until you have spent time with them. I agree. And for those, you kind of got to see them how they react against the world and what pushes their buttons.
Exactly.
And if they can recognize that you understand those certain things and you're willing to shift your habits, and they see that, I think that's just showing that you appreciate the person. But in intimacy, into me, gotta see what's really within. And I know a lot of people, especially that I've known in the rock and roll side of life, was they did have to deal with the drugs, and I guess it wasn't really not like disliking themselves, but it was just how to even look within in the first place. And so
right, they're basically just absorbing externally as much as they can, sex, drugs, rock and roll. So when I say that, in other words, most people, a very high percentage, usually go through all of those permutations and doing everything in excess, balls out, as I say, literally. I mean, because that's just, there's so much passion. And it's like, okay, when Johnny was a little boy, his mom might have said, Johnny, don't go to the other side of town. Really bad things happen over there. So I don't want you to go over there. So what would little Scorpio Johnny say? He'd be like, well,
what's over there?
Of course I'm going to, well, what's over there? I'm going to see for myself,
right.
So you can't really, snuff them out or hold that energy back because they have to find out for themselves. But it is to come out the other side, and a lot of people are not able to put those habits behind them, or the excess, or can be very addictive qualities potentially. But I don't always see that scorpionic energy getting used in the best way, the most positive way, because let's look at it too. It's they're very secretive by nature, and so they may not tell you what they're thinking about, or might not want to share their deepest, most inner thoughts initially, until they feel like they can trust you. That's a big deal with Scorpio, Leo, Taurus mainly. A trust issue is a big deal because some of them can be deceptive, untruthful, not telling you the truth. That's, and Scorpio hates to be lied to, hates it. Absolutely. So, but those are the sides of it that can come out, or when somebody does you wrong, somebody that is not really mastered the scorpionic energy would be like, oh well, I'm going to get revenge on that person. Well, okay, you're just keeping that karmic wheel turning, and then you're going to have your comeuppance, and it goes like that. But
and since I'm a Capricorn, I just try to kill him with success. And that's all I can do.
Well, a Capricorn, it's actually very reserved energy, very reserved. So that combination of both Capricorn and Scorpio, you could hold a lot of things in and not really tell people or share what you're really feeling with that combination. Now, it's a slightly different for you with the Libra moon, because that's very social. That person loves to interact and have people around, and
I feel like I need that.
Yeah, exactly.
There's moments in time when being reserved feels like it's definitely being able to keep that information towards yourself, so you kind of have like a special light on other people to see how much you actually let a person into your life. And and as far as Capricorn, you're using the information from other people's intellect to get to where you need to. So even when you said really don't like being like lied to and dealing with that, is because it's really known that like if you're being lied to and you're trying to put trust into the person and you're trying to get something done, then you're kind of living a false reality that you, because your mind is making all these assumptions off of a false piece of information, and next you know that all that time would have been wasted if it wasn't for something true, or just try to take the best of what you learned out of it. But there are moments in time when you go out when I go out with people, and it feels so draining that it's just like, because you know there's all these energies around, but if they're good people that you can trust, then you literally feel like uplifted and revived, even like energized. Go on days, months even.
Because Capricorn in relationship, technically it's very traditional. Now there's not much traditional about Scorpio, or when we look at your Jupiter and Sag, and we won't go into that today because we're getting on 25 minutes here.
That's fine.
And then I'll do a recap and talk about some of the things that
part 2.
Yeah, exactly. But Capricorn, usually somebody who has a Capricorn sun and or moon, usually the type of parents that you had growing up, you had chores, you had responsibilities, and or you might have, if you had younger brothers and sisters, you might have had to play the elder role, or sometimes even if you weren't the older one, you were somehow chosen to be the one more responsible.
Yeah, I can see that.
And so, in other words, before you enter the life, this is what you set up. So technically, let's take that in another step further. So technically, before you came into the life, you chose the parents, the entities that would help you to play out that role. Does that make sense?
To challenge me, to get me out of my comfort zone and grow, to develop the skills that I need. Because again, if you dealt with liars for a long time, or if you've been unhappy for a long time, it kind of gives it a true sensibility of what it means to be happy, or at least joyful, and find that median ground. So I believe Alan Watts describes it pretty well. Just yin and yang, or balancing. You can't really have one without the other. Something to contrast it to. Otherwise it would just be the plane of existence. And how could you appreciate this color from that color?
Yeah, very true. Exactly. So, like, for me, see, I'm a Capricorn moon.
Okay.
So, not surprisingly that I connected with you, because it commonly, like I said, you're a Libra moon. So when you meet somebody who's Libra sun sign, they're actually learning partnership through you, even if it's all happening on a subconscious level. They're taking cues from you, or they might say, what would you do in this situation, Miguel? Then they might come to you for advice on a partnership or a relationship. You've probably gotten that quite a lot, because Libra moon, it is kind of like a counseling sign in a sense. Like, I don't have a Libra moon. There's an ant too. I'm like, whoa, what's that? As cold as it is outside, it's like, how could they be alive? But anyway, now, because like my Capricorn moon, it's right on the 7th house point, the descendant precisely. And 7th house point is like a Libra-ship, rulership. So it is interesting that when I just ran your degree today, I asked you 8 p.m. I said, or a.m. Very rarely a birthday time is right on the money, and I stress this in a couple other videos that I have, because it's just not very common. And I said, you asked about that, and I couldn't believe you got the answer back right away. So I ran it, and I thought, oh my God, look at this. You're 12 degrees Capricorn rising. So you're learning, you would be learning the Capricorn material from me, like how to be competent, responsible, together, the work ethic, the call to duty, urgency, qualities like that. And technically they're very traditional people as far as, wanting the family legacy to go on the 7 generations and carrying on. And I want the house with the white picket fence and, a wonderful partner and children and the dog in the yard sort of thing. That's ideal for Capricorn. Now, for Scorpio and Sag, it's a little bit different,
Makes it harder. Maybe.
Because there's other elements to it. So I'm talking about not about anything else, but strictly Capricorn energy. And so I was really surprised when I saw you were 12 degrees Capricorn rising, because my moon is 12 degrees Capricorn. So I was like, wow. And then your Mercury is 13 degrees Capricorn, 23 minutes. My descendant, okay, you asked me before descendant. Rising sign is your ascendant. So descendant is the other side, the 7th house point. My descendant is 13 degrees 36 minutes. So I mean, it's within minutes of mine. So we have the reversal. I'm Cancer rising Capricorn on the descendant. You're Capricorn rising Cancer on the. So we got the, yeah. So that's really cool. See, for me now, I do not have any other personal planets in Capricorn. So when I meet people that are younger, or like they're Capricorn sun sign like you, or Capricorn rising, sometimes I'm like, can you help a little bit more with this? Or I'd like you to, maybe you can handle 3 or 4 jobs. Well, yeah, I've done that most of my life. It's like they're not understanding that I don't need more Capricorn. If it turned out that I was Capricorn rising, then yes, it would suit me within my being I'd still want to be a work maniac, like what I've been most of my life. Right. But see, I'm moving away from that because that's a given. That's not anything that I need to learn. I wouldn't be tapping into the new material that I'm supposed to be if I were doing that. It would mean I'm not really growing. So. But
for me as a Capricorn moon.
I'm Capricorn moon.
Okay.
You're Capricorn sun. So you're a learner bee. You're learning how to be Capricorn.
Okay.
So that's why in you it feels like there's such an urgency, a call to duty. I want to do this, I want to do that. And they're very ambitious, extremely ambitious people. Capricorn, usually, they call them the goat, climb the mountain. They're the ones who, they want to be the manager, they want to be the boss, they usually have managerial ability, or they want to own the company. That's Capricorn. I want to have my own business. I
don't want to.
Exactly.
That's too.
And so all of that feels comfortable within you because that it resonates with you. That's what you're going after. So all I'm doing is putting it into words. What are the qualities of Capricorn?
Okay.
So if anybody truly that's my PhD. I have a PhD in Capricorn, and you're learning to be Capricorn, where you have a PhD in Libra. So you meet people around you that are Libra sun or Libra rising, they're learning how to be Libra from you. They're learning all about partnership.
Okay. I need to go look into my life and see.
All about being a team player.
Okay.
So it's like
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm a team player.
Definitely. Yeah. See, then now there's ways that I feel like anybody who's a counselor or psychologist or something like that could use these couple tools, like the moon in a man's chart. Your moon is in Libra, your Mars is in Virgo. If a relationship gets way out of balance, then your partner, if they wanted to get it back into balance, they would have to say something to stroke your moon. What would that be? Be like, it's about Libra. You're such a great partner. Wow, you're an amazing team player. I really like that, you helped me with that project. You're the best person I could have worked with on that project. All those things you'd be like, they would just make you sing. They'd make you happy.
Part of the group that I'm able to put in some serious effort and get this team across.
But if they didn't know, conversely, if we've all had people around us like they just don't get you, or they're just not reading you right, and they push the wrong buttons. You know, I just don't want you for a partner. I don't think you're a very good team player. You don't really step up to the plate. And they're saying things like that. They're pushing the wrong buttons, you know, and that would not make you very happy, especially if that was your girlfriend.
Right. That would make me question, is like, well, how do I make it right then? You know, how do I fix it? And then there's no answer. So then I'm just trying to get swirls in my head that lead to nowhere. So,
or if you really were sincerely making an effort, but she didn't, you know, she wasn't reading it that way, then I would think, well, wow, then, you know, maybe she's just used to having everything land in her lap and not putting any effort in it herself. Where's the team spirit here, you know?
None. But it's
I'm just using,
trying to
you know,
figure
examples.
it out. Yeah, I'm trying to see, because a lot of the stuff that you said has related to my life in one way or another. I've already think of people automatically come to my head that show those qualities, and if I can at least use this chart to add the right people into my life, or at least understand their attributes so I can complement theirs, along with, you know, how Libra is social and relationships, I think it would be a very positive impact, and it would make my team even stronger and beat anybody else's.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a whole lot more there, but we're at
Okay.
36 minutes. So I'm just going to
so
say, we're going to close this out. And after this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in and add any other parts of this that I might have, because I found you to be much more interactive doing a reading than a lot of people are. They're listening because most of them, they're recorded, and they want to get as much information as they can as possible. So they're asking very few questions. But you're, of course, as a Libra moon,
I need to know.
in tandem, much more, you know, responsive in asking a lot of questions, and then putting in a lot of information as well. So
A good part of the team.
yeah. see. So. Otherwise, if I was doing this for a different person, there might have been more content. In other words, you know.
Of course.
But then again, on the other hand, you want to have a fair amount of exchange, because then a lot of times, you know, I might say something that might cue you into something that, wow, wait a minute here, we could really be onto something here. So let's dive a little bit deeper into that.
I agree.
And yeah, so sometimes it's good to say, oh, wait, you know, I have something to say about that now that you mentioned that. So you do want to, you know, dive deep. If something comes up, then it's like, okay, yeah, let's look at that. So.
All right. Well, thank you, Marlene.
Yeah.
I appreciate you so much showing me. It definitely hit some of those emotional buttons inside of me, memories. But I can't wait to continue on to this next part 2 video.
Good, awesome.
I'll record that again.
I'm glad. Okay, so this is Marlene, Astrologer Extraordinaire, and this is my friend Miguel.
Hello,
Thank
guys.
you for your help.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to do a lot more of this because he is built for this.
Okay, awesome.
Honestly.